Hi, my name is Gabrielle Burton, licensed marriage and family therapist intern.
And I'm Jacent, Wamala, licensed marriage and family therapist.
And we are your hosts of the Wealthiness of Healthiness show. Every week we come to you with content to hopefully encourage and inspire your mental health journey.
Yeah, it's November now, so why not get into talking about the holidays?
Yes.
It's a real fun topic.
The holidays.
Definitely. So we can dive into that topic and see what happens.
So a lot of people experience holiday stress, or also known as holiday blues. And so that can look different for each person, but a lot of times it is experiencing fatigue due to unrealistic expectations, over commercialization, financial stress, the inability to be with your family and friends, or the stress that comes with being with family and friends. Also just sometimes sadness and just feelings of anxiety and stress, all just due to trying to trying to cope with the demands that they feel are being placed on them just due to the season.
Yeah, and there's something called seasonal affect disorder, which a lot of people more than we know or think are affected by. And with the seasons changing, right, we had daylight savings recently where we turned our clocks back and we lost an hour of daylight. So with the days being shorter and the temperatures dropping, it can really exacerbate those feelings of sadness and depression at a time where you're supposed to be happy, right? You should be happy, or you should be grateful, and that could make those feelings worse for someone that's not actually feeling that way. And so it's really challenging to deal with those effects if you're dealing with the disorder, seasonal affect disorder, or if you're just, having to handle the holiday blues. So we've got some tips for you today.
Yes. So tip number one would be to notice if this is a pattern for you. If you start to notice that every time around, every year around this time, I start feeling really tired, or I start feeling really sad, or just kind of being in tune with like your body and kind of noticing like what comes up for you, that's a really good indication of, okay, maybe you need to do something different, or maybe you need to try to adjust some things. I know for some people, if there's like an anniversary of maybe a death or a birthday of a loved one that is no longer with us, that could also trigger someone to just really start feeling sad and lonely and depressed. And or if there was a huge transition, for example, a divorce, that also could start to bring these types of emotions up for people. So it would just be, the tip number one would to be just kind of start to notice, how your body starts to show up at different, around the holiday season.
Yeah, with that, you want to make sure that you're keeping up your regular routine and taking care of yourself.
That's so important.
So, if people are trying to pick up extra shifts to cover the holiday budget or lack thereof, making sure that you're eating and sleeping and, drinking enough water to kind of have your baseline covered, right, of your foundation. And so, not cutting too much into your rest, because that's going to replenish your stores to be able to deal with the stress of the holidays. So, keeping up with your routine, practicing your self-care. Maybe you need to implement more self-care at this time to be able to deal with more stress, right? It makes sense. More is more. So, definitely reevaluate and come up with a plan for your self-care.
Perfect. The next thing would be to reframe the holidays. What that means, like in therapy, we use that term reframe a lot, meaning maybe there's a narrative, okay, you should be joyful, this is the most wonderful time of the year. Maybe you kind of reframe it and say, you know what, I really want to be intentional about making sure this is a restful time of year for me. Or maybe there are traditions that your family or you're used to doing, but maybe that is just not an option this year. Maybe you didn't get a chance to go home for the holidays this year, just due to budget or whatever. What can you do to create your own traditions? I knew someone who went through a divorce, and that was really hard for them because they were so used to having their holidays look a certain way. And so instead of going and doing what they normally did, because that was no longer an option, she decided to take her kid down to the strip and rented a hotel, and then they went to like the M&M factory or the Hershey's factory, and then they woke up on Christmas morning in a hotel and watched movies, and it was super cool. And so you have the ability to decide what your holiday season can look like. Or maybe you decide that you don't really want to spend a ton of money on things. Maybe you decide like, hey, I have a week off from work anyways, because that's, you know, they're giving my time off. So this is time for me to, you know, take care of myself and spend time alone and, you know, get rid of clothes and you know, get ready for the new year. Whatever that looks like, you get to reframe it and decide, and don't let society or over commercialization tell you what the holiday season should look like.
Yeah, along those lines of kind of deciding and reframing, figuring out who it is that you want to spend time with during the holidays.
Yeah, that's so good.
There's a lot of expectation that you're supposed to spend it with certain people, whoever those people might be. But you don't necessarily have to choose to spend all of your time with people that maybe make you feel, you know, drained or pull your energy as opposed to fill you up.
Yeah.
And so I think coming up with a list of your go-to like holiday friends or family members that can either join you at certain events or parties, or that you can call, you know, when you're feeling some type of way, makes you more able to go into those things feeling confident.
Right.
And if you have a conversation with them before the holidays begin, right at the beginning, then they know to expect, right, that you might be relying on them, you know, and they can be there for you, or they can let you know, like, hey, I'm stressed out myself, I don't know if I can be that for you, and you can pick another person, or you could be that for each other. So you also don't want to create expectations for someone and then not let them know what those expectations are, and set each other up for success as opposed to failure. So
Well, we always want to give you tips, but then we also want to leave you with challenges, and so we just gave you 4 tips that I think are super awesome, and I hope they were helpful. But the first challenge we want to leave you with is to take note of how you tend to feel around the holiday season. I think that most adults have some level of stress or anxiety around the holidays, whether it's due to just the financial pressure, you know, oh, I have another work party that I have to be in Secret Santa again, so I have to go buy gifts, and I can't afford another $30 limit, you know, it just, that kind of stuff. So then you're like, do I opt out? Do I say that it's a religious reason why I don't participate? Like, you know, that kind of stuff. And so that can be difficult. So just take note of like how you feel you tend to feel around the holidays is your first challenge.
Yeah, the next challenge I would say is identify who the first person is that you want on your list. I'm sure you could think of, okay, this person's really kind, they're really gentle, they support me whenever I tell them anything, they're not judgmental. Who is that number one person that you are thinking of on your team? Because maybe thinking of multiple people is a lot to ask right now. So if you can just start with one name, that's a person that you can kind of send a message to, or ask out to coffee or something like that to just chat about it. That way you are setting yourself up for a successful, or, you know, a better holiday season than those in the past.
Love it. Well, we hope this information was helpful for you. The holidays are among us, and we are not ignoring the fact that they can be stressful. So we hope this video gave you some really good tips. And we have a YouTube channel. This is our YouTube channel. And so if you like our content, we just ask that you would
subscribe. There's a little red button, turn on the notification bell, and you'll get a nice little email when we send out new videos. We talk about all kinds of topics. If there's something that you want to hear about specifically, send us a message or leave a comment, and we will put it on our list.
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate your guys' support, and we will see you in the next video.